and stuff.
Okay.
I'll just let you guys ask me questions, I guess.
Okay. So you started with the Theralumen laser
Uh-huh.
a month ago,
Yes.
and so you went through a detox 3 or 4 days after
About
you
the
started?
third day,
Okay.
yes, and it was a very hard detox.
What all were your symptoms?
Severe, very, very severe headache. I had a lot of pain in my eyes and a lot of pain in my cervical spine, nausea, a lot of pain in my feet.
Okay. I expected that.
Lasted about 24 hours the first time.
Okay. All right.
And the second time, it happened 5 days later.
Okay.
It lasted about 8 hours.
Wonderful.
Same symptoms, about the same strength.
Okay.
And I compare these to the Herxheimer reactions
Right.
that I was having on IV antibiotics, especially the Flagyl and
Right.
some of those, the Ceftin.
Mm-hmm.
The reaction, I think, was a lot more intense than the IV antibiotics, but the reactions lasted a lot longer on the IV antibiotics than they did with the laser.
And then after the second detox, did you begin to use it twice a day at that point? Or did you wait
I
for
went-
the third detox?
I went through 2 weeks of just one time a day,
Good.
and when we started the second 2-week phase, we
Mhm.
started twice a day.
Okay.
Yeah, or 15 minutes and then wait a while and 15 more minutes.
Now, did you have a third detox?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I did, and I think that one was 6 days, 5 or 6 days later.
Okay.
I continued to detox pretty much all through, every few days all through.
Good. And were the symptoms shorter and less intense after that second detox?
Yes, the third one I think was about 8 hours. I think the last one was about 6 hours, so they were shorter and shorter.
Okay.
Very intense, but shorter and shorter toward the end, and I could tell so much that it was helping me, so much good.
What were some of the positive things you saw or experienced?
Well, I felt more alert.
Okay.
I had more energy.
Okay.
My lower spine was not hurting as bad, and I was not having to use a Foley cath as often. The second week, I began to be able to self-cath again, which was an incredible improvement. When I left the nursing home, which was a few days before the finish of the treatment with a laser, I went home with a Foley. I'd had to have a Foley. But the day that I went home, I was able to remove the Foley, and the next day I was able to empty my bladder without having to self-cath or have a Foley.
Wow.
That is incredible improvement, bladder improvement, and I have felt more sensation in my bladder and in my bowels, which had almost been none at all. For a long period of time, I had no sensations. So now I have less constipation, and I have less of the retention in my bladder after the treatment.
What was your diagnosis at the beginning?
At the beginning, I had diagnosis of third stage or late stage chronic Lyme disease and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, which is a connective tissue disorder. 2 types of that, the hypermobility, which is type 3, and type 4, which is vascular. It has many of the symptoms that lap over or overlap the Lyme disease as well. Also have been diagnosed prior to that for many years with fibromyalgia. I have been diagnosed with interstitial cystitis, which is the lining of the bladder because of the disease has been destroyed and very painful. Was diagnosed with chronic strep. That was checked in between IV antibiotics again after a year, and still very high on the DNase B test. So I still tested positive with chronic strep. I'm excited now to have the chance to go and do another test for strep to see how that stands now after the laser treatment.
That'll be interesting. Now, when you were under upper cervical care, that was kind of your lifeline and the foundation for your turning
Yes,
with all the conditions, correct?
definitely. After finding the upper cervical care, that it helped me so much. It just made night and day difference in my life. It gave me the desire to live. I was in so much pain before I found the two of you by internet, and I was told about the upper cervical treatment, and I was to turn 49 years old in a few days, and I really truly did not want to live to make that. I had tried so many doctors, and so many tests had been done, and so many procedures, and so many medications that just weren't helping, and the pain was excruciating, and to the point of just not wanting to go on, not feeling that I could go on that way. One night I was praying, as I had many times. I was on the internet looking for solutions and typing in and Googling my symptoms and going through so many search engines trying to find. I still wanted to search for answers. I still knew that there had to be an answer out there. But in the condition I was in, I really didn't want to go on much longer if I couldn't find those answers. So I prayed, and about 3:30 that morning I sent the email to your website and went to bed. I never really expected to hear back, because so many of those times I had sent the contact information to the different websites, I had heard nothing back. But I received a phone call early the next morning from Dr. James, and I really feel so blessed that he had it in his heart to follow through after he read my email. And it was such a blessing. It was hard to even imagine that a doctor in North Carolina would be calling me in South Texas, and his words, "Can you get to Rosenberg," which was about an hour and a half drive from me, were really life-saving words for me. And I knew that God had given me the answer that I needed. And I said, yes, I can make a way. God will make a way to get me there. So he told me the name of a doctor in Rosenberg who used the Grostic technique. Dr. Johnson, Dr. Mark Johnson. He was incredible. I went to him and I told him I would be turning 49 in a few days, and I was there just hoping that he could help me make it, and that the pain was so bad, so intolerable. And he told me he'd like to see me and treat me every day that week if I could make it there. And I said I would. I had friends who could drive me, so I did make it. In that first week, the treatment helped me so much that it just gave me hope to go on. And I was living in an RV near Galveston, Texas, and having treatment at UTMB Medical Center through several specialties and doctors there. And I decided that the treatment was helping me so much, and it was such a distance to travel, that I moved the RV to Rosenberg to be near Dr. Mark Johnson's office. And he treated me for several months. And I was able to function a lot better. I had less pain than I'd had before. And it was helping me so much. I had so many times lost my voice and couldn't speak for weeks at a time. It had given me the voice back and the desire to be active and serve God in my calling. And I felt that he had helped me so much that I could move on, which I found out later was a bit of a mistake. I moved several hours away to North Texas, and I was without upper cervical care for a while, for several months. And I found out that there definitely was a mistake to do that. And I moved to Missouri. For economical reasons, I moved to Missouri, and a friend there told me that she knew of some chiropractic doctors I could go to that might be able to help me. So we started searching, and we weren't finding anyone near central Missouri where I lived. So I called Dr. James because I knew he had the answers before. And the first thing he said to me when I told him I had moved to Missouri is, no, you never ever leave your upper cervical doctor. You never move away from him. If he moves, you move with him. So I knew that I needed to get back to the upper cervical treatment, he told me of the nearest doctor to me, and that was Dr. Boring in Kansas City. And that was a 2-hour drive for us. But I did start going to Dr. Boring, and he helped me a great deal. He used the AO treatment, and he did help me. He told me during my treatments that he just didn't feel it was right for someone to cry all the way through their adjustments. He said there's something systemic going on with you, and you really have to be searching for the answer for that. Something's going on. You should not be hurting this bad when you are on my table. And I knew the adjustments were helping me, but they were excruciatingly painful in my thoracic and lumbar spine.
Hold that, I need to restart this. For us to upload, I need to keep it at 10 minutes. Oh, stop.
I get so long-winded.
No, that's